lottery ball machine is fired up, and we will soon know the results of which team will own the rights to select from a number of top prospects.
And we'll get to it now. The 15th overall selection in the 2021 NHL Draft, the number 14, 13, 12, the number 11 overall selection in the 2021 NHL Draft belongs to Chicago Blackhawks.
Very good. I mean, unless Stan's gonna flip the table at it. I think we're good.
This was a year that we talked about going back before the season began, that we were going to lean on young players. Hopefully some of them would step forward and break through, and I think we saw that across the board. Kirby Dach,
Ian Mitchell,
Adam Boquist, Nicholas Beaudin. The drafted players we certainly know the best. We get to know them, we get to know what they're all about, what their potential could be.
particularly good on the power play.
He was almost a point a game in junior.
I don't think he lost a face off the first night.
Some of them arrive right away, in the case of Kirby Dach, and some of them take a few years. Kurashev comes to mind. He got inserted in the lineup and he showed that he was NHL ready and kind of a breath of fresh air.
All the way through and in, and he scores! Oh! Highlight goal, Philip Kurashev, his 5th on the year.
Boquist in the past, Ian Mitchell, success at Denver as the captain and great collegiate career. He jumped right into the NHL game 1 and he had a really good run to start the year, and I think he even ended the year strong.
First National Hockey League goal!
Nick Beaudin, I think when he got his opportunity, he made the most of it. He showed he has a lot of poise offensively, made some nice plays, great passer. These young defensemen, they're challenged coming in as young players, and I think they hung in there. When you draft them, by the time they make it to the NHL, you've had 3-4 years of getting to know them and understanding what their dreams are, and to see that come full circle, to have them make their debut, score their first goal, be a part of a big win, it's a pretty cool experience. There's always excitement over who could that next player be.
At the beginning of the year, there was a lot of uncertainty. The European leagues usually start first, and the major junior leagues in Canada, and they weren't going right away, or if they started, then they got shut down. Once it got started down here, as far as the USHL goes, it was pretty much normal. If you go back to October, it was going to be like, okay, what are we going to do? Or if you're one of these kids, like, how am I going to get drafted? Like, especially those kids in Ontario that had a real small sample size, if any, and didn't get to play this year. How do we make a decision on that? But we start watching these guys almost a year in advance now, so you have a little bit of history with them. Some guys have had more showings than others just based on rules and regulations, and then you had to rely a lot on video and talking to coaches and advisors, and you just had to find and collect as much information as you could. So tonight is game 1 of the USHL Clark Cup, which is the league championship. It's Fargo and Chicago. If you pulled up Central Scouting, there's quite a few players between the two teams that are ranked for this year's draft. So they said capacity tonight was only 25%, but you should see a lot of scouts here tonight for sure. The year off when they transferred them back to North Dakota, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something goofy like that. You guys get like 9 years of eligibility.
They do now after COVID.
The USHL had a really good year. They were able to get through the full season. They had some shutdowns here and there. We're fortunate, located here in Chicago, to be able to go and see games in person. I think the video scouting is a great complementary tool, but there is just something to be said for being in the rink and watching the players play live.
The best chance is this game.
I actually thought they kind of dominated the first period. They're just not winning.
Yeah.
Megan Hunter really took on some new roles this year. We expanded her ability to impact the hockey ops by giving her scouting assignments. So when she goes to these games and watches the amateur players, her evaluations on them and her insight are pretty unique. And I think having that diversity of opinion, we haven't had that before.
I might have to eat my words.
You won't.
No, I won't.
I wanted to use a little bit more of my hockey mind, so ended up talking to Stan and Al about what that maybe could look like, and we kind of all said, hey, why don't we get you out to see some games, do some scouting, and go from there.
It's kind of a statement.
Yeah.
I like the way that our group has been inspired to try some different things. I think if there's one thing we've embraced this last 18 months is change is good, and we're adapting to how we have to scout this year. You have a smaller sample size, and when that's the case, I think there's going to probably be more variability this year in the draft than we've ever seen before.
These guys are doing a good job at checking the middle of the ice.
There's always players come out every year, so our job is to find those players, whether you find them in the early rounds, mid rounds, or late rounds. That's the challenge of what we're doing here, and there's a lot of players that we're excited about this year, and I'm sure we're going to be able to draft some of them.
The Blackhawks are proud to select